Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. We will do uh, six surahs today, starting from Surah Saba. The surahs beginning from Surah Saba are from the fifth group of Quranic surahs. Uh, the fifth group of Quranic surahs um, has as its subject matter, as its theme, quite apart from the common theme that the Quran accommodates all throughout its seven groups, the theme of warning to those who rejected the message of Islam, the message of Quran and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the theme of good news to those who believe in the message of the Almighty. Uh, However, in this particular group, we find that one theme that dominates is that of Tawheed, the unity of the Almighty. Uh, this group has 16 surahs, out of which two are unique. They do not have any other partner to pair with. One is Surah Yasin, a part of which we are going to discuss today, and the other is Surah uh, Al-Hujurat. Uh, so we begin with Surah Saba and Surah Fatir, the two surahs which together they form a pair. Uh, both surahs, they are beginning with the message of expressions of gratefulness, thankfulness to the Almighty. Uh, in both surahs, the mention of the Tawheed of the Almighty, the unity of the Almighty, is done, but in one case, it's done through the mention of the historical evidence, and in the other one, it's it's the angels whose mention has been uh, referred to bring home the same theme, the same message. So we start with Surah Saba. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض. All expressions of thanks and praise are for Allah the God, to whom belong all that is there in the heavens and the earth. وَلَهُ الْحَمْدُ فِي الْآخِرَةِ. And for him is going to be all expressions of thankfulness in the life hereafter as well. وَهُوَ الْحَكِيمُ الْخَبِيرُ. And he is wise and fully informed. يَعْلَمُ مَا يَلِجُ فِي الْأَرْضِ. He knows what enters, penetrates the earth. وَمَا يَخْرُجُ مِنْهَا. And what emerges from it, what goes out of it. وَمَا يَنزِلُ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ. And what descends from the heavens, from the sky. وَمَا يَعْرُجُ فِيهَا. And what ascends therein. وَهُوَ الرَّحِيمُ الْغَفُورُ. And he is forgiving, he is merciful. وَقَالَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. And those who have disbelieved, they say, لَا تَأْتِينَ السَّاعَةُ. The hour will not come to us. That is, the day of judgment is not going to happen. The punishment that is being promised to us will not happen. قُلْ بَلَى. Say to them, why not? وَرَبِّي. I give testimony to my to the existence of my Lord. I swear upon my Lord, لَتَأْتِيَنَّكُمْ, it's most certainly going to come to you. Alim al-Ghaib. He knows whatever is in the hidden, whatever is the unseen. La ya'zubu anhu mithqalu zarra. There is nothing that is unseen, even if it's of an atom's weight. Fis samawati wala fil ard. Neither in the heavens nor in the earth. Wala asgharu min zalik. And not even anything lesser than that, smaller than that. Wala akbaru, or bigger. Illa fi kitabim mubin, except that it's in a clear book. In other words, everything is known to the Almighty. The day of judgment is going to most certainly uh, occur, and all deeds are going to be taken into account. So, this whole propaganda that is not going to take place is baseless. Then the Almighty goes on to mention the statement of the disbelievers, a firm, confident statement, which the disbelievers used to make, and statements they would make would appear to be so confident that it seemed as if they were apparently on the right path. وَقَالَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, and so said those who disbelieve, هَلْ نَدُلُّكُمْ عَلَى رَجُلٍ يُنَبِّئُكُمْ, should we not tell you about a person who is informing you, إِذَا مُزِّقْتُمْ كُلَّ مُمَزَّقٍ, that when you will be disintegrated completely, that is, when you will die and be buried and your body is going to be completely disintegrated. إِنَّكُمْ لَفِي خَلْقٍ جَدِيدٍ, you will then be recreated again. Is that what he's saying? أَفْتَرَى عَلَى اللَّهِ كَذِبًا, is he inventing a lie upon God? أَمْ بِهِ جِنَّةٌ, or has he gone mad? بَلِ الَّذِينَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْآخِرَةِ, no, certainly not. Those who do not want to believe in the next life, فِي الْعَذَابِ وَالضَّلَالِ الْبَعِيدِ, because of what they're doing, they're going to be in serious punishment, and they are in a very deep error, extreme error, an error wherein if they've gone astray by a very wide margin. أَفَلَمْ يَرَوْا, have they not seen إِلَى مَا بَيْنَ أَيْدِيهِمْ وَمَا خَلْفَهُمْ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ وَالْأَرْضِ, have they not seen uh, before them and behind them the world that they are living in? إِن نَشَأْ نَخْسِفْ بِهِمُ الْأَرْضِ, if we intend, if we want, we can make them be swallowed by the earth. They would be sunk inside the earth. أَوْ نُسْقِطْ عَلَيْهِمْ كِسَفًا مِنَ السَّمَاءِ, or we can send down a part of the fragments of the sky. إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَةً, indeed in it is a great sign, لِكُلِّ عَبْدٍ مُنِيبٍ, for those who turn back towards God. That is, this whole world belongs to Him. He is the one who controls everything. So, what makes them feel that they are completely secure and nothing is going to happen to them? If the Creator wants, He can inflict upon them His punishment through any means. It can come from the sky, it can come from within the earth, the land that they are living in. Then the Quran mentions the two great prophets, the father and the son, Daud, David, and Suleiman. وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا دَاوُدَ مِنَّا فَضْلًا, and we certainly gave David from our side mercy, bounties. We gave them such bounties Ya Jibalu Abbabi Ma'ahu Wattayr, that we gave these instructions to the mountains. Oh, mountains, you repeat what David is saying when he is praising us, and as well as the birds. So the birds and the mountains would accompany Dawood alayhi salam while he would be praising the Almighty. What exactly uh, was the reality of it? We don't know. But the fact is that the Quran is telling us that it would happen. وَأَلَّا أَلَنَّا لَهُ الْحَدِيدِ, and we made uh, iron uh, in service to him, pliable for him. That is, could melt it and make use of it by uh, transforming it into different forms. أَنِ اعْمَلْ سَابِغَاتٍ وَقَدِّرْ فِي السَّرْدِ. So we would command him that through this iron, make full coats of mail and calculate exactly, precisely the links of the coats and the chains. وَعَمَلُوا صَالِحًا, and work all of you uh, righteously. That is, on the one hand, go for the industry, go for the technology that you are able to discover and work for. But while you are doing all this to make this life more comfortable, do do the good deeds as well, and continue doing it. Inni bima ta'maluna basir. We, whatever you do, I, the Almighty says, I am watching everything. وَلِسُلَيْمَانَ الرِّيحَ غُدُوُّهَا شَهْرٌ وَرَوَاحُهَا شَهْرٌ. And for Solomon, there was this wind that would blow in a certain direction for a month, and in the morning, and its journey in the afternoon would be in a certain other direction for a month. So, he knew full well beforehand what are going to be the directions of the winds, which would help him in enabling his boats, his ships uh, to to function, to travel. وَأَسَلْنَا لَهُ عَيْنَ الْقِطْرِ, and we made uh, to flow for him the spring of copper. Copper was made to be melted and be employed by him for his various different inventions, various different uh, objects that were created out of it. وَمِنَ الْجِنِّ مَن يَعْمَلُ بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ بِإِذْنِ رَبِّهِ. And from amongst jinns, there were those who continue to serve him uh, in front of him by the will of the Almighty, by the will of his Lord. وَمَن يَزِغْ مِنْهُمْ عَنْ أَمْرِنَا. And whoever would deviate from our command, نُزِقْهُ مِنْ عَذَابِ السَّيِّدِ, we would punish him with the punishment of fire. So the Almighty made those uh, jinns to serve Sulaiman alayhi salam. And the Quran mentions all this to bring home the message for the people of Quraysh that on the one hand, we have these great prophets who were empowered with so much of resources and ability, and yet they were thankful to the Almighty. And on the other hand, is your case, wherein with very ordinary, uh, uh, you know, strength and resources at your disposal, you're so arrogant and haughty that you don't want to thank and you don't want to bow down before the Almighty's message. So finally, he says in the last verse 54, وَحِيلَ بَيْنَهُمْ وَبَيْنَ مَا يَشْتَهُونَ كَمَا فُعِلَ بِأَشْيَاعِهِمْ مِنْ قَبْلِ. And these people, if they continue with what they're doing, uh, there will be an obstruction, prevention that's going to be erected بينهم وبين ما يشتهون, between them and what they desire, the desire of their success, of their continued prosperity, is going to be blocked. كما فعل بأشيائهم من قبل, exactly the same way as was done with the people of their category earlier. إنهم كانوا في شك مريب. Indeed, they are in a doubt which continues to bother. It's a doubt which is not causing them to understand and to be able to get better insight, because doubts are sometimes positive as well. They're helpful, but their doubts are the ones that are taking them deeper into misguidance. Then we have its next surah, Surah Fatir, which is partnering it with it to form a pair. As I said, this surah is talking more from the context of the point of view of the angels and what they do to underscore and emphasize Tawheed, the unity, oneness of the Almighty. Alhamdulillah, Fatir samawati wal ard. All praise and expressions of thanks are for Allah, the God, Fatir samawati wal ard, who is the creator of the heavens and the earth. Ja'ilil malaikati rusulan. He is the one who made the angels messengers. Uli ajnihatin masna wa thalatha wa ruba. These angels, they had wings. They have wings. 2, 3, and 4. Yazidu fil khalqi ma yasha. He increases in creation what he wills. Inna Allah ala kulli shayin qadir. Indeed, God is competent, has control over everything. Ma yaftahillahu linnasi min rahmatin fala mumsika lahu. Whatever God grants to people of mercy, there's nobody who can withhold it. Fama yumsik, and whatever he withholds, fala mursilahu lahu min ba'di. There's nobody who can release it after he has withheld it, stopped it. وَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الْحَكِيمُ, and he is exalted in might and wise. Then we move on to verse 15, which mentions the reality that we human beings are fully and completely dependent upon the Almighty. Ya ayyuhan so people, antumul fuqara, you are in need of fuqara ilallah, in need of God. You are dependent on Him. Wallahu huwal ghaniyul hamid. And God, He is ghani, free from all needs. Hamid, He is being praised. He's praiseworthy, and you praise Him or not, His praise is happening all across, all over His existence. In Yasha yuzhibhum, if He would desire, He can take you away. He can cause you to be eliminated. وَيَأْتِ بِخَلْقٍ جَدِيدٍ, and He can bring a new creation. وَمَا ذَلِكَ عَلَى اللَّهِ بِعَزِيزٍ, and this is not difficult for God. He can do it easily. So remain within your limits, be humble, and worship Him, and believe in Him and Him alone. And be sure, وَلَا تَزِرُ وَازِرَةٌ وِزْرَ أُخْرَى, that no one is going to be able to shoulder the burden of anyone else. وَإِن تَدْعُ مُثْقَلَةٌ إِلَى حِمْلِهَا, and if somebody is going to beg someone else to lift, to bear the burden that belongs to him, لا يحمل منه شيء. He'll not be able to bear, he'll not be able to shoulder any of it. ولو كان ذا قربى, even if he were his relative. إنما تنذر الذين يخشون ربهم بالغيب. But, O Prophet, you can only warn those people who are willing to be fearful of the Almighty even when they can't see Him. وَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ, and they establish regular prayers. وَمَنْ تَزَكَّى, and be sure that whoever purifies himself, فَإِنَّمَا يَتَزَكَّى لِنَفْسِهِ, he purifies only for his own welfare. وَإِلَى اللَّهِ الْمَصِيرُ, and it's only towards God that they are all going to return. To God is going to be the return of everyone. Then we move to verse 27, wherein the Almighty is referring to his signs that he has arranged to be all across this beautiful world. Alam tara anna Allah anzala minas samai ma. Have you not seen that God, He sends down from the sky water? فَأَخْرَجْنَا بِهِ ثَمَرَاتٍ مُخْتَلِفًا أَلْوَانُهَا. Then through this water, we bring out all kinds of fruits of different colors. وَمِنَ الْجِبَالِ جُدَدٌ بِيضٌ, and amongst mountains there are tracts that are white. وَحُمْرٌ, and red. مُخْتَلِفٌ أَلْوَانُهَا, of varying shades. وَغَرَابِيبُ سُودٌ, and some are extremely black. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ, and amongst people. وَالدَّوَابِ, and creatures. وَالْأَنْعَامِ, and livestock, cattle. مُخْتَلِفٌ أَلْوَانُهُ, there are likewise different colors. They have different colors. كَذَلِكَ, that's how it is. إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاءِ. It is only those who know, who care to know, those people can only fear Allah. When you know what He has created, when you know how He is, given what He has created, how you can understand His attributes, that you can fear Him. Inna Allah Azizun Ghafur. Indeed, God is mighty, exalted, and is forgiving. So on the one hand, He is mighty and exalted, but on the other, He is forgiving. So if you are inclined towards asking for His forgiveness, He is willing to do that. Then in verse 40, the Almighty mentions about those who ascribe partners with Him. He asks, قُلْ أَرَيْتُمْ, say to them, tell me, شُرَكَاؤُكُمُ الَّذِينَ تَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ, these partners of yours whom you ask for help, pray to, apart from God, Aruni, show me, مَاذَا خَلَقُوا مِنَ الْأَرْضِ, what have they created on the earth? أَمْ لَهُمْ شِرْكٌ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ, or is it that they have some partnership in the running of the affairs of the heavens? Am ataynahum kitaban, or are they ascribing partners with us because we have given them a book? Fahum ala bayyinatin minhu, so that they are very clear reading that book that they should ascribe partners. Bal in ya'idu zalimuna ba'duhum ba'dan illa ghurura. No, there's none of this is there. They've got no such argument. The fact is that these unjust people, some of them are deceiving others. They have their tradition of forefathers. They try to come up with arguments, baseless arguments, and they are fooling each other. Inna Allah yumsiku samawati wal ardan tazula. It is indeed God who is causing the heavens and the earth to, to be held together, lest they should cease to exist, they should disintegrate. Wala in zalata, and if they would be disintegrated, uh, in amsakahuma mim ahadim min badi, who will be able to hold them together? They were to disintegrate, except him. Apart from him, who else would be able to do it? Innahu kana haliman ghafura. Indeed, he is the one who is forbearing and is merciful. And towards the end, he says in verse 45, وَلَوْ يُؤَاخِذُ اللَّهُ النَّاسَ بِمَا كَسَبُوا. And had God uh, imposed blame on them, on these people for what they had earned, مَا تَرَكَ عَلَى زَهْرِهَا مِنْ دَابَّةٍ. He would not have left upon the earth any creature. He's forgiving. He allows you to continue to exist despite your wrongdoings. وَلَكِنْ يُؤَخِّرُهُمْ إِلَىٰ أَجَلٍ مُسَمَّى. He just delays, defers these people, their fate for a specified term. فَإِذَا جَاءَ أَجَلُهُمْ. And when their time will come, فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ بِهِ بَصِيرًا. And indeed God has ever been uh, watchful. He sees everything that his servants do. After this surah, we have Surah Yasin, which is, as I said, or did I, is a standalone surah which doesn't partner with any other surah. Uh, this surah is talking about the same themes, but the tone seems to be a little more firm and stronger. So we start with this verse, Yasin. This is Surah Yasin, Wal Quran al Hakim, and I present as an evidence the wise Quran, Innaka lamin al Mursaleen, that, O Prophet, you are amongst the messengers. That is, this wise Quran, if somebody reads it and understands the impressive message that it has put across, he will be convinced that the one who has brought this book, this message, is indeed God's messenger. That is, uh, he cannot come up with a book as wise as the Quran himself. So this Quran is an evidence of the fact, that the testimony of the reality that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a messenger of God. Ala sirati mustaqim, and you are on the right path, straight path. Tanzil al-Aziz al-Rahim. It has been revealed by the one who is mighty and forgiving. Then we move on to verse 30 of this surah, where the Almighty, after having described the story of a nation that was visited by three messengers, and yet they rejected them, and then they were punished by the Almighty. Having mentioned what had happened, Quran says, Ya hasratan ala al-ibad. How regretful it is for the servants. Ma ya'tihim min rasulin. There doesn't come a messenger, illa kanu bihi yastazimun, except that they ridicule him. Alam yarau. Have they not seen, kam ahlakna qablahum, how many nations we have destroyed, punished before them, min al-qurun, amongst the nations, generations that came before. Annahum ilayna la yarji'un, that none of them is going to return. They came, they lived, they flourished, and they were destroyed because of their misdeeds and wrong attitude. So why would these people of Mecca, why are they going to be spared? In kullu lamma jamiul ladaina muhdarun, and indeed all of them will be brought before us for accountability. Then the Almighty mentions his signs. Verse 33, Vayatul lahumul ardul maita, and a sign for them is the dead soil, the dry, parched, dead soil. Ahyaynaha. We caused it to come back to life. فَأَخْرَجْنَا مِنْهَا حَبًّا, and we brought forth from it grain. فَمِنْهُ يَأْكُلُونَ, from which they eat. وَجَعَلْنَا فِيهَا جَنَّاتٍ, and we created within this land gardens, min nakhilin wa anab, of palm trees, dates, and grapevines. وَفَجَّرْنَا فِيهَا مِنَ الْعُيُونِ, and we caused to flow therefrom springs. لِيَأْكُلُوا مِنْ ثَمَرِهِ, we did all this so that they should eat from his fruit. فَمَا عَمِلَتْهُ أَيْدِيهِمْ, they did not do it on their own. فَلَا يَشْكُرُونَ, are they not going to be grateful? Uh, Subhanallah. So the right approach should be that one should say that exalted is the one, خَلَقَ الْأَزْوَاجِ, who's created pairs and different forms, كُلَّهَا, all of them, مِمَّا تُنْبِتُ الْأَرْض, from what comes out, what grows in the land, وَمِنْ أَنفُسِهِمْ, and he has created pairs and variety within you, for humans, وَمِمَّا لَا يَعْلَمُونَ, and he's created them in those creations which you don't even know. Verse 51 talks about the day of judgment. The Almighty says, وَنُفِخَ فِي السُّورِ, and the trumpet is going to be blown, that is, on the day of judgment. فَإِذَا هُمْ مِنَ الْأَجْدَاثِ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِمْ يَنْسِلُونَ, and all of a sudden, they're going to all emerge from their graves. قَالُوا يَا وَيْلَنَا, they would say, woe to us, مَنْ بَعَثَنَا مِنْ بَرْقَدِنَا, who has raised up from our sleeping places? We were sleeping, you know, and we were in calmness and tranquility, and all of a sudden, we have been raised. هَذَا مَا وَعَدَ الرَّحْمَنُ وَصَدَقَ الْمُرْسَلُونَ, this is what Ar-Rahman, the most merciful, had promised, and the messengers, they told us the truth. That is, they will then recall that they were informed by the messengers that they are going to come back to life after they were dead. In kanat illa sayhatan wahida, it will not be but one blast, one trumpet, one blast. فَإِذَا هُمْ جَمِيعٌ لَدَيْنَا مُحْضَرُونَ, and all of a sudden they will all be brought to presence before us. فَالْيَوْمِ, so today, لَا تُظْلَمُ نَفْسٌ, no soul shall be wronged, شَيْئًا, at all. The accountability is going to be perfectly fair. وَلَا تُجْزَوْنَ, and you are not going to be recompensed, إِلَّا مَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ, except for what you used to do. Then in verse 69, the Almighty says about the Quran that وَمَا عَلَّمْنَاهُ الشِّعْرَ, we've not taught him, our prophet, poetry. وَمَا يَنبَغِي لَهُ, nor is it befitting for him. He's far above the inclination that is being attributed to him, that he would indulge in poetry and present this message. In huwa illa zikrun wa Quranun mubin. It's only a reminder from the Creator, and it's a clear Quran. So because they don't have any other explanation to offer to their followers who are getting more and more inclined and interactive towards the Quran, They would say that it's poetry. Uh, that's verse 69. 70 says, this Quran was revealed, liyunzira man kana hayyan, so that he should be able to warn those who really have life, that is, who have within them the inclination to know the truth. وَيَحِقَّ الْقَوْلِ, and the word against the disbelievers, al-kafirin, should be completely established. That is, they should have then no um, no excuse to present, and they are taken to task after it would be made absolutely clear that they were presented with the Almighty's message most clearly, most convincingly. Uh, the final part of the surah is verse 77, wherein the Almighty says, goodness, these apps sometimes cause problems. Oh God. Verse 77, oh, it's not allowing me. Okay, we do verse 82, which says, Innama amruhu, his command is only iza arada shaygan, when he decides about a matter, an yaqula lahu, it's only that he says about it, kun, that you be, fayakun, uh, then that it begins to happen. فَسُبْحَانَ بِيَدِهِ مَلَكُوتُ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. So exalted is the one in whose hands is the kingdom of everything. وَإِلَيْهِ تُرْجَعُونَ, and towards him you will be made to return. After this Surah Yasin, we have these two partner surahs, As-Safat, Surah number 37, and Saad, Surah number 38. Uh, both surahs, again, are talking about the same topics. The only thing is that we find that while in Surah Safat, as we saw in Surah Fatir, the angels are presented as an evidence. The angels, what they're doing. While in Surah Saad, it's the prophets whose evidence is mentioned to underscore, to emphasize the same point. Uh, the inclination of the kuffar, the disbelievers, to disbelieve is criticized in Surah Safat, while in Surah Saad we find that the arrogance that the kuffar disbelievers had, that was pointed out and criticized. So we first take Surah Safat. At the beginning of the surah, the Almighty says, وَالصَّافَّاتِ صَفًّا, and those angels who are lined up in rows, they are an evidence. فَالزَّاجِرَاتِ زَجْرًا, and those that are criticizing others, they are causing others to be condemned. That is, these angels, they would admonish the Satans So that part of their activities mentioned Fataliyat Zikra, and those who recite the remembrance, the message. That's another function they would do. The angels, the way they operate, they give a testimony to the fact, Inna ilahakum lawahid. Indeed, your God is one. The people of Mecca, they made angels as their gods. They would worship them. The Almighty is mentioning that those whom they worship, they in turn are actually worshiping God. So, why are they worshiping angels? It should be the Creator whom they should worship. Rabbus Samawati wal Ard, the Lord of the heavens and the earth, Fama Bainahuma, and whatever is there between them, Warabbul Mashariq, and the Lord of all the expanses of the east. Thereafter, we find a very effective mention in this surah of the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam, from verse 83 onwards. After having mentioned the stories of some other prophets and the story of Nuh alayhi salam, Noah, the Quran says, وَإِنَّ مِنْ شِيعَتِهِ لَإِبْرَاهِيمَ, and from amongst his kind and his progeny was Abraham as well. That is, Noah's family, when it again proliferated, uh, one of the sons was belonging to his progeny was Abraham. Is جَاءَ رَبَّهُ بِقَلْبٍ salim. Recall the time when he came to his Lord with a very sound heart. That is, he was a very noble soul. Is قَالَ لِأَبِيهِ, it was the time when he said to his father, وَقَوْمِهِ, and his nation, مَاذَا تَعْبُدُونَ, what is it that you are worshipping? أَإِفْكًا آلِهَةً دُونَ اللَّهِ, is it the false gods other than the God, other than the Creator that you desire? فَمَا ظَنُّكُمْ بِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ, if that's the case, then what do you think about the Lord of the world, the heavens and the earth? فَنَظَرَ نَظْرَةً فِي النُّجُومِ, so he looked at the stars. Um, it is said in Surah Al-Anbiya that the other people of his nation, they went to the outskirts of the town that they were living in for uh, attending some function. And he opted to stay back, looked at the stars, and he said that فَقَالَ إِنِّي سَقِيمٌ, I don't feel like going. I'm a bit tired. فَتَوَلَّوْا عَنْهُ مُدْبِرِينَ, that was his plan. He stayed back. فَرَاغَ إِلَىٰ آلِهَتِهِمْ, and he turned towards their gods, false gods. فَقَالَ أَلَا تَأْكُلُونَ, and he asked, why don't you speak? Why don't you eat? Why don't you eat from what's being presented to you? Because people used to offer them food. So why don't you have them? Have your food. مَا لَكُمْ لَا تَنْتِقُونَ, why is it that you don't speak? فَرَاغَ عَلَيْهِمْ ضَرْبًا بِالْيَمِينِ, and he turned upon them with a mighty blow, strong strike. فَأَقْبَلُوا إِلَيْهِ يَزِفُّونَ, obviously they were all shattered. So these people, they are worshippers, they came towards him hastening. قَالَ أَتَعْبُدُونَ مَا تَنْحِتُونَ, he asked them, do you worship what you carve, create yourselves? وَاللَّهُ خَلَقَكُمْ وَمَا تَعْمَلُونَ, and indeed it is God who has created you and what you create. So all that you've created, and then you are now worshipping what you've created, it's all God created. He created you, and you are creating these false gods. Alubnu lahu bunyanan. They said, construct for him a structure, a furnace, falquhu fil jahim, and throw him into the burning fire. Fa'aradu bihi kaidan. So they intended a plan for him. فَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ هُمُ الْأَسْفَلِينَ, and we made them completely destroyed, debased. وَقَالَ إِنِّي ذَاهِبٌ إِلَىٰ رَبِّي سَيَهْدِينَ. So when this punishment came to these people, thereafter Abraham said, إِنِّي ذَاهِبٌ إِلَىٰ رَبِّي, I will go to my Lord, I'll go in his way, سَيَهْدِينَ, and he'll guide me. I know this much, that what they were doing was all wrong. They have been destroyed. Now I am waiting for a call from my Lord to guide me to wherever he wants to take me. Rabbi Habli, oh my Lord, please grant me minas salihin, progeny from the righteous, those who will be good buyers. Fabasharnahu, so we gave them good news, biqulamin halim, of a boy who was forbearing. Falamma balagha ma'ahu saya. So when he reached along with him the age of exertion, when he could move around and work, qala ya bunayya, he, Abraham, said, "O my son, inni ara fil manam, I have seen in my dream, anni azbahuka, that I'm sacrificing you. Fanzur maza tara. So let me know what you think about it." Qala ya abati, he said, "Oh my father, ifal ma tumar, do what you have been asked to do, what you have been commanded to do. Satajiduni, you'll most certainly find me, inshallah, God willing, minas sabirin, from you'll find me amongst those who are patient, those who are steadfast." Falamma aslama, and when both of them submitted, atallahu lil jabin, and he put him down on his forehead. Wanadainahu, and we called him, An ya Ibrahim, O Abraham, but saddaqta roya, you have fulfilled the dream. You've actually literally done it. Inna kazalika najzil muhsinin. Indeed, we reward those who are righteous, do good deeds that way. Inna haza lahu al bala'ul mubin. It was most certainly a very clear trial. فَفَدَيْنَاهُ بِذِبْحٍ عَظِيمٍ, and we ransomed him with a great sacrifice. That is, it was this tradition of sacrifice that we started after him. فَتَرَكْنَا عَلَيْهِ فِي الْآخِرِينَ, and we left for him a favorable mention amongst the later generations. Then we move on to the last part of this surah, starting from verse 176. The surah says, the verse says, أَفَبِعَذَابِنَا يَسْتَعْجِلُونَ, are they hastening, are they impatient regarding our punishment? فَإِذَا نَزَلَ, they should know that when it's going to come down, descend, بِسَاحَتِهِمْ, in their territory, in their area, فَسَاءَ صَبَاحُ الْمُنذَرِينَ, then it's going to be a very evil morning for those people who were warned beforehand. فَتَوَلَّ عَنْهُمْ, so turn away from them, at-ta'in, for a while. Give them some time. It's round the corner. وَأَبْصِرْ, and watch. فَسَوْفَ يُبْصِرُونَ, they too are going to see. Subhana Rabbika Rabbil Izzah. Exalted is your Lord, the Lord of might. Amma Yasifun is above from all that they ascribe to him. Wassalamun alal Mursaleen. And the peace be on the messengers. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. And all praise and all expressions of thanks are for the God who is the Lord of all mankind, all existence. Partnering with this surah, Surah Safat is Surah Saad, which is Surah number 38. Yeah. Saad. This is Surah Saad. Well, Quran is zikr. And the Quran, which has reminder, remembrance in it, is a testimony of the fact that you are the messenger. Sometimes the Quran mentions an oath as an evidence, but doesn't mention what exactly is the evidence for. It's implied, and the Quran wants us to get involved and to understand and bring out the implied part of the message of ourselves. That in itself is is something that enables us to get involved in the message in reading it. بل الذين كفروا في عزة وشقاق. But those people who are bent upon rejecting and denying, they are in a state of arrogance. They have pride, وشقاق, and they have dissented. They have gone to a distance in their agreement. They have gone to extreme in disagreeing. كم أهلكنا. How many nations have we destroyed من قبلهم, before them? من قرن, from amongst the nations. فنادوا ولا طحين مناد. So when their punishment came, they called out, but it wasn't the time for them to escape. They had lost the opportunity. Wajibu. And these people, they are surprised. Anjahum munzirum minhum, that there has come to them a warner from amongst them. Faqal al-kafirun. And these disbelievers, kuffar, they talk about the messenger, Sahirun Kazzab. Haza Sahirun. He's a magician, Kazzab, and a liar. You find these mentioned in the Quran time and again of the disbelievers, making very strong statements. So, I mean, those who don't believe, they obviously are going to resort to blasphemy. The Quran mentions their blasphemy, the blaspheming remarks, in order for us to be mentally prepared. So instead of reacting to what these people say, well, we should either ignore, or if there is something that needs to be put across, we should mention the message. So this is one of the examples of a very strong condemning expressions used by the kuffar and quoted by the Quran. We move on to verse 21, and we find that the Almighty is again talking about Dawud alayhi salam. And he says, وَهَلْ أَتَاكَ نَبَأُ الْخَصْمِ. Has the news of the two adversaries reached you? Is tasawwarul mihrab, when they climbed over the wall and reached his praying chamber where Dawud alayhi salam was. Is dakhalu ala Dawud, when they entered upon David. He was there, and these two people came to him. فَفَزِعَ مِنْهُمْ. So he was a bit scared, alarmed by their presence, because they entered his place, his palace, all the security system was defeated, and it was a surprise for him. قالوا لا تخف, they said, don't fear. That's funny. We are two adversaries. We are two people in dispute. بغى بعضنا على بعض. And one of us has wronged the other. فاحكم بيننا. So you decide amongst us بالحق, in truth. ولا تشتت, and don't be biased. Don't go beyond limits. واهدنا إلى سواء الصراط, and guide us to the right sound path. And then he, the one who was uh, unfairly dealt with, he came up with the dispute. He said, "In haza akhi, this is my brother. Lahu tis'un wa tis'una naja. He has 99 goats. Wali anajatun wahida, and I've got just one. Faqala akfilniha, and he says that give this one to me as well. Wa'azzani fil khitab, and he overpowers me in his speech. He's very loud in what he's saying, trying to influence me. Qala, so said David, laqad zalamaka bi su'ali najatik. He's certainly been unfair in demanding your goat to be added to his 99 goats. وَإِنَّ كَثِيرًا مِنَ الْخُلَطَاءِ, and there are many people who are in partnership, who are working together. لَيَبْغِي بَعْضُهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ. It happens that some of them, they oppress others. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, except for those people who believe and do good deeds. وَقَلِيلٌ مَّعَهُمْ, and very few of them are like that. وَظَنَّ دَاوُودَ أَنَّمَا فَتَنَّاهُ, and David, he felt that we have tried him. We were testing him. فَاسْتَغْفَرَ رَبَّهُ, so he sought the forgiveness of his Lord. وَخَرَّ رَاكِعًا وَأَنَابَ, and he fell down, bowing and repenting. That is, it seems that Daud, he realized that by requiring me to give verdict on the dispute of these two disputing brothers, the Almighty was reminding him of some uh, similar decision that he had taken. And as soon as he got reminded, he was extremely uh, embarrassed, and he sought the Almighty's forgiveness by prostrating immediately. Finally, towards the end of the surah, we find that the Almighty is saying that قُلْ مَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ مِنْ أَجْرٍ. Tell them that I'm not asking you for any reward for what I'm doing to you or for the message I'm presenting. وَمَا أَنَا مِنَ الْمُتَكَلِّفِينَ, and I'm not the one who is pretentious. I am just in huwa illa zikrul lil alamin. I'm delivering this message because it is nothing but a reminder for all humans. Because this task has been entrusted to me, that's why I'm doing it. وَلَتَعْلَمُنَّ نَبَأَهُ, and most certainly you will know about it, badahin, after a certain while. You will know about the fact that what I am reminding you about is a reality, and you will recall this fact after the reality reaches you. But the trouble is that when it will reach you, it will be of no account, it will be of no value for you, because now is the time that you are expected to reform yourself, correct yourself, and turn towards the Almighty and do righteous deeds. May the Almighty enable us to understand the Quran properly and to follow it to the best of our abilities.